Welcome, 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 everyone. We are so happy that you have joined us. We've got some other people hopping into the waiting room, so we'll take just a second and let everybody get in. So good to see everybody. I'm seeing some familiar faces. Hope that the school year is getting started off well for you guys. Okay, yeah. All right, friends, we're going to go ahead and hop in. Good morning and welcome to our September webinar with the Kentucky Advising Academy, which is an initiative of the Kentucky Council on Post-Secondary Education. We are so excited that you decided to join us today. We know you have a million plates spinning and that you could be anywhere doing anything. So the fact that you took a pause to be with us and to hopefully learn some valuable information really just means the world. My name is Destiny O'Rourke, and I am the transitioning director of the Kentucky Advising Academy. I'll be moving into a new position, but although that transition's happening, I'm excited to introduce you to the new director of the Kentucky Advising Academy, Mitzi Holland. To know her is to love her. She is deeply passionate about this work, and I cannot wait for her to continue to lead this charge and to lead the team. I think that you all will continue to get some excellent information as she takes over. We're also joined by several of our regional advising coordinators, and you'll have a chance to meet them in the chat in just a few minutes here. And we also have a very special guest. We have Katie Bauer, who is the Southwestern Kentucky Outreach Counselor for the Kentucky Higher Education Assistance Authority, most affectionately known as KAA. And so she's going to share a majority of the information today about a special tool that will help you to really enhance the number of FAFSA completions in your school. So I'll introduce Katie and she'll take over in just a few minutes. But first, I really want to take a moment and get to know you all. We have record numbers today. There were 106 registrants for the webinar, and we're so excited that the word is getting out and that people are excited to get this information. So take just a moment in the chat and please introduce yourselves. We would love to have your name, your organization, your title, and just for fun, tell us this. When it comes to gasoline, when do you tend to refill? Do you do that at a half tank, a quarter tank, or are you living on the edge like I am and do that as you are running on fumes? So take just a moment and let us know who you are in the chat, please. I see another fumes, all right. Quarter tank folks in the house. Nice, nice, nice. All right, yes. You all keep those coming. This is so fun to read. How long can that light stay on? We wait till the very bitter in there. Ooh, 100 miles to empty. All right. Awesome. All right, you guys, keep those coming. We love to check in on those. So we know that, again, you have a million plates spinning. We do want you to know that there will be ELA credit available at the end of this webinar for those who are joining us live. And I'll give you some details about that at the end. You'll see our agenda listed up here. And so on the agenda for today is really just a brief introduction of the Kentucky Advising Academy. And then I'll turn it over to Katie, who's going to give you a lot of information about getting support for your students on the FAFSA. After that, we are going to spend a few minutes in a short breakout session. And I think this is really exciting because it allows you to spend some time interacting with your colleagues across the state on some practices that they use. And so we hope that you will take advantage of that time and ask questions and have some great discussion together. After that, we're going to share out some of those ideas. And then I'll go over some ways you can stay connected with the Kentucky Advising Academy, as well as inform you on your ELA credit opportunity. All right, so I'm going to start then by going over the purpose of the Kentucky Advising Academy. And so, really, the Kentucky Advising Academy exists to provide support for post secondary advising. And so, we do a lot of that in multiple ways that I'll share in just a second. But I want to first really focus on the advisor title. We want to honor the fact that we know students get advising information from a myriad of places. And so really we're not targeting only school counselors, but we're also targeting, FRISC coordinators, teachers, coaches, club sponsors, community partners, all of those who interact with our students to help them make those very vital post-secondary plans. And so because of that, we want to make sure that we tailor our services to really match any of those roles. And we also, for you guys who are in those roles regularly, we want you to feel like you've got a source that you can share with other folks. And so, for example, as we learned about the FAFSA Completion Initiative report today, if you think this is valuable and someone in your school could help you with that and help build capacity around that, then we want you to be able to share this webinar and with them to help you out too. So we know that, again, no one person can do it all when it comes to that post-secondary process, but we want to make sure that we build a community of support that really helps with that. So we were born from a committee recommendation from the Commonwealth Education Continuum. So I'll refer to that as the CEC. The CEC is a joint initiative between Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman, Education Commissioner Dr. Jason Glass, and our very own Council on Post-Secondary Education President, Dr. Aaron Thompson. So they put together this really all-star group of state level stakeholders who represent the P20 continuum and on through the workforce. And really their task is to identify the different leaks in that pipeline and ultimately take actionable steps to plug those leaks. And so our strategic agenda, the overall CPE strategic agenda is 60 by 30. That's our North Star. And what we mean by that is we want 60% of Kentuckians to have a post-secondary credential by the year 2030. And that includes a 2-year or 4-year degree, certification, all those credentials, all of them, can lead to a high quality of life. And so we know that's going to help our Commonwealth. And so that continuum then got together and thought, okay, well, what are the ways we can strategically plug those leaks? And one of them was to talk about having more advisors and more advising information out in our state. So that's where the Kentucky Advising Academy was born. Professionally, we have 3 goals that we want to accomplish. We want to help our target audience build knowledge, capacity, and community. And so in order to accomplish that, we offer several different ways to engage. One of those is a monthly podcast called Well Advised. And it's a brief podcast covering timely post-secondary advising topics such as admissions, financial aid, scholarships, and more. And we, of course, offer this webinar monthly. And this webinar is always going to be related to the podcast topic because we want to give practitioners like you guys an opportunity to engage where it makes sense for you. So if you, hear the podcast and you think that you want to have more information or the opportunity to collaborate with your statewide colleagues, then this webinar gives a chance to expand on that topic and to have that engagement. Quarterly, we offer a newsletter with post-secondary advising information, not only from us, but from our myriad of partners across the state and from great organizations nationally. So keep an eye out for that as well. And then we offer in-person learning events, which kicked off yesterday. And so we're really proud to come to your area and talk through some advising topics. And so I'll tell you more about how to be engaged in those professional learning events at the end of our time together. We're also fortunate to have some great regional coordinators who help lead the task in the different areas. So we know that as you get to know them in the areas that you'll really connect with them well. All right, so now we're going to turn it on over to Miss Katie Bauer. And, this webinar today is brought to you in partnership with KAA. They're an excellent resource for post-secondary advising, and we hope that you're already using their services. And so at this time, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Katie and let her introduce herself and give you some great information.
All right. Thank you, Destiny. As she said, my name is Katie Bauer. Apparently my picture isn't loading, so you don't get the lovely photo of me, but my area, I cover Warren County, Simpson, Butler, Logan, Christian, Todd, and Muhlenberg counties. So that's sort of my area. A little bit about KAA. So we at the Kentucky Higher Education Assistance Authority, we strive to offer help where you need it. So whether it's through any of our services, including various college and career related publications, you probably have some of our publications in your office. There's 13 of us outreach counselors across the state that cover all 120 counties, or our College Info Roadshow, which is a mobile classroom with a set of computers, and Kevin is our leader at its helm. We provide hands-on help through assistance with college applications, completing the FAFSA, walking students through verification, and teaching financial literacy. KAA also administers the state scholarships and grants, including KEYS, College Access Program Grant, Kentucky Tuition Grant, and several more. We work hand in hand with Kentucky Saves 529 plan, the Educational Savings Plan, as well as the Advantage Education Loan. So we definitely cover a lot of different things. So if you ever have any questions about any of those, that is what we are here for. I want to talk a little bit about some FAFSA completion work. So I think it's important to understand sort of where we are when it comes to FAFSA completion, so that we can understand sort of how to move forward and what kind of our goals are in the future. So for the class of 2022, 52.1% of Kentucky seniors completed the FAFSA. That was a 3.4% increase from July 1st of the previous year. So great to see that increase there. Nationally, weirdly, exactly the same percentage, 52.1% completion rate, which was an overall increase nationally of 4.6% from the same time last year. Kentucky is in the top 20 states for highest FAFSA completion for seniors, so 14th for highest year-over-year change. And then overall FAFSA completion, so not just looking at the seniors, looking at anybody who completed the FAFSA, it was down around 5% from the same time last year. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a snapshot, sort of what the completion is looking like at this time, and sort of how we can play our role in increasing that. So one of the key campaigns of the Kentucky Goes to College, or of Kentucky Goes to College, is the FAFSA for the Win Challenge. So the FAFSA for the Win Challenge invites all public and private schools in Kentucky, high schools, to compete for a chance to win $500 for their school. Each school is split into one of these categories based on the number of seniors. So small public would be considered a senior class up to 99 students. Medium public is 100 to 199 seniors. And large public would be 200 or more seniors in the class. And then private schools are going to be in their own category. And there are two ways to win. One is to have the overall highest percentage of FAFSA completions. The other is to have the highest percentage increase in FAFSA completions during the challenge period. So overall completion, and then increased percentage sort of year over year. Our challenge to each school was to have a 5% increase in FAFSA completions compared to the previous year. And this challenge ran from October 1st, 2021 through April 29th, 2022. I want to next recognize some of our winners. And I hope that you all are here to join us today. The following schools had the highest overall FAFSA completion rate for their category. So for small public, we had Robertson County High School at 75%. For medium public, we had Franklin County High School at 61%. For large public, Lafayette High School with 80.5%. And then for private, we had St. Patrick High School with a 100% FAFSA completion rate. Wow. For our most improved year over year, the winners were for small public, Russellville High School. So that was an increase of 18.5% from the previous year. For medium public, we had Bell County ATC and Bell County High School with an increase of 14.5%. Large public was Frederick Douglass High School with an increase of 13.8%. And for private, Oneida Baptist Institute with an increase of 30.7%. So these are huge increases. And I don't want to leave you saying, like, what are we supposed to do? I'm going to make sure that you have the tools to reach those increases as well. So this year, jumped ahead there, we are going to continue with the FAFSA for the Win Challenge. It'll open on October 1st, which coincidentally is the same day that the FAFSA opens for the 23-24 FAFSA. It will close April 28th, 2023. So be sure the FAFSA for the Win Challenge will close April 28th, 2023, not the FAFSA. Be sure to register by November 1st on kygoestocollege.com. And that website is right there. Register at kygoestocollege.com by November 1st to be eligible for these prizes. Again, the goal is to increase FAFSA completions by 5% from the previous year. And we would announce those winners mid-May 2023. That's what we're kind of looking at for the next year's challenge. So at this point, you're probably thinking, hey, that all sounds great. Those are great numbers. We definitely want to increase all of this, but how do you actually do it? Well, one way is to ensure that you are receiving and know how to utilize the FAFSA completion initiative. So basically, KAA offers a report for schools to access to see student level data regarding FAFSA completion. So essentially, whether a student has completed their FAFSA or not, or whether they've started it. You can access this report through the KEYS portal. And I'll be walking you through the step-by-step of how to actually pull it here in a minute. But the report will show you the student name and state whether the FAFSA was started or completed. If you do not receive this report already, you can opt in by having the superintendent sign a user agreement with KAA's student aid department. I've placed Roxanne Lewis's contact information on here so that you can contact her about receiving this report. So that would be your main point of contact at KAA to make sure that your school is opted in to receive this report. I'm going to show you step by step now. And these pictures aren't loading, but you'll have access to these slides where you can see each step by step how to use it and where exactly to go. But you'll go to KAA.com and you'll sign in there. You'll sign into My KAA. You'll have a user ID and a password assigned to your school or district for the FAFSA completion initiative. So there will be a specific login that you will use. The first time you log in, you're going to be prompted to change the password. So you'll have to do that on KAA. The next screen will be the FAFSA completion initiative homepage for your district. And you'll be able to see, it'll be very clear. It says FAFSA completion initiative download under files and reports. And again, I'm going through this quickly because I'm going to make sure that you all have access to this where you can see all of these photos and be able to do this step by step. You'll be able to pull information where you'll sort it by high school name, and you'll be able to choose your high school out of that report. And then you'll sort it accordingly. I'm just going to skip ahead here because I want to make sure that you all can actually see these photos, but you'll go through a process to save this to your computer in a certain way so that you can edit and format it correctly. Once the file is saved, you'll transfer it into Excel. And then there'll be kind of a wizard when you get into Excel. They'll be able to help you format this correctly. And then again, there's just very simple things that you'll click through here, and it'll be formatted into columns that will be very easy to understand. So I apologize for that not coming up quite right, but we'll make sure that you have access to that as soon as possible. You can expect to receive new weekly reports every Wednesday morning. So these will be cumulative. So it's not just going to show from the last report how many students have completed from the previous one. It'll show the cumulative amount. So all students that have completed it. We have done our best to format the report behind the scenes so that you only receive current students in your report. If you notice that your report contains large amounts of recent graduates or former students, definitely reach out to KAA and we will figure out what's going on so that we can make sure that you're only accessing information for your current students. So a few things to keep in mind when it comes to the report. The FCI report will show students who have started the FAFSA and who have completed it. One way to increase student completion for the FAFSA is to specifically target those students that haven't completed it, right? If you can see who hasn't completed it, you know exactly who you need to talk to, especially if you know that they intend to go to college or intend to pursue some sort of degree, then we can target those students. You can compare the FCI report to students who receive or qualify for free or reduced lunch, because you know that those students are going to be most in need of financial aid. And so you can make sure that those students have completed the FAFSA. So kind of cross-checking it with other references that you have available can help you specifically target certain students who would potentially receive more aid. When your FAFSA experts are visiting, so like KAA outreach counselors, you can use this report to specifically call down students who either haven't started the FAFSA or haven't completed it. So being able to see that student level data can help you really hone in on the specific students that you can help, that the others who are coming in can help, so that you can make sure that you get all of those students. So I mentioned experts. Here are some of the experts that you can utilize. KAA outreach counselors, like I said, there's 13 of us across the state. Your TRIO, Upward Bound, Educational Talent Search, any college financial aid offices, and the Kentucky College Coaches. These are all great resources that you can reach out to and use and let us help you. Our goal is to make your jobs easier. We are here to support you and to support your students. So please reach out to us and use us, and we are more than happy to help out. This was supposed to be a map of Kentucky with the KAA Outreach Regional. It's the KAA Outreach Regional map. But if you go to KAA.com, you're going to be able to look at the outreach counselors and be able to choose the outreach counselor that oversees your county. So you'll be able to see all of their contact information, email address, phone number, all of that. You'll be able to see it on KAA.com. So there's some more FAFSA resources out there besides just us. The FSA YouTube videos are really great kind of snapshots of what is an asset, or how do I create an FSA ID or something like that. They're really great educational videos that are short, animated, fun to watch. So the FSA YouTube videos are great. The FAFSA demo website is also a great way to be able to kind of manipulate the FAFSA a little bit based on certain student scenarios. So you can play around with that, act like as if you are a student filling out this FAFSA, and especially if you haven't done it in a long time, or if you're just not as comfortable with it, it's great to be able to go into the demo sites, be able to make mistakes, be able to see, oh, if I click this question this way or answer this question this way, how does that change for a student who might be going through this scenario? So I love the demo website. I use it a lot. And that was one way that I became really comfortable with the FAFSA, was using that demo website. KAA offers some really great YouTube videos. We try to put out a YouTube video at least once a month, and we always do a line-by-line demo of the FAFSA as well. So you can follow along. That should be posting either this month or next month, the demo video. So you can watch line by line, okay, what question's going to come next? If I answer it this way, what would come next? Things like that. So KAA YouTube videos are a really great resource, not just for FAFSA, but for scholarships, college and career readiness, things like that. So KAA YouTube videos are great. We also have Facebook Live events, and we have Twitter chats every month. So the outreach counselors are going to provide information based around a certain topic, and you can see what those topics are going to be on KAA.com, but definitely follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and you'll be able to access those resources as well. All right, I'm going to hand it back over to Destiny.
Katie, thank you so much for this wonderful information. I'm telling you guys, that report saved me so much time and helped me to be really efficient when I was on the ground in a high school. And so I hope that you were able to take that information and really put it into practice, especially knowing that you can enter that FAFSA for the WIN challenge and potentially get $500 for your school. And then students have the opportunity to get that $500 too, like Katie said. We will, just so that you know, we will have a PDF of this document, of this presentation, that goes out in our follow-up email. And so by the end of today, you will have access to the PDF, which will include all the pictures and all that information for you. And that's also where you'll get your ELA credit. And I'll talk about that in a few minutes. But the first thing I want to do is go ahead and get us into our breakout rooms. And so this is a great opportunity, again, for us to spend some time together and talk over the information that we have heard about, and then to talk about best practices that you are using in your own school, to ask any questions you might have and that sort of thing. And so what'll happen is we're going to spend 15 minutes in these breakout rooms, and you'll see on the screen that we've provided some guiding questions. So these different guiding questions will hopefully facilitate some additional conversation for you. But I want to let you know that once you're in your room, it's important to do two things. First off, the first thing you want to do is select someone to record the information that the conversation is going to be about. So anyone can do that. Just we'll give you a link to a document that everyone can see, and you'll just take notes as people are having conversation. So you need a recorder to do that. The second thing you'll need to do is select someone to report out the information. So you need a reporter, and the reporter is going to just pull together the conversation and tell us when we're back in our large group what your group's thoughts were on that question. So the reporter doesn't have to report out the answers to all three questions, just the one that corresponds to your breakout room. So if you're the reporter for breakout room number 1, then you are going to report out the answer for question number 1, and I'll see if other groups want to chime in on that. So breakout room number 2, you'll only answer out loud to the full group question number 2. So that'll kind of help things to move along there. The other thing I want you to know is that you've already been pre-assigned to a room, so you don't have to worry about navigating that. In just a minute here, we're gonna ask, you'll see it, that the breakout room's coming, and you'll go directly into that room. So the room will last about 15 minutes, and hopefully that gives you plenty of time to have some great conversation. And once the breakout rooms are done, then we'll all come back together here and we'll finish out our session together. All right. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and break out into our rooms, and I'll see you all back here in about 15 minutes. All right, folks are making their way back. We hope that you had some great conversation and that you got some good information from each other. So we are going to start by sharing out. So we're going to have breakout room 1. Go ahead and share your responses to question number 1.
I can go ahead and share because we were actually still chatting as we were all brought back. So we actually had a lot of people in our breakout room that either had access to the FCI report in the past, but like there's a transition currently happening where they're trying to transition that over to someone new, or that they haven't had access to it and they're in the process of kind of figuring out who can get in charge of that process now. So the barrier was mostly just, trying to figure out who had it or how to currently get it.
All right. Yeah. That just having that simple access is a huge part of it, because once you have access, then you can really put some of the other best practices into place. And so I think that is good feedback, just figuring out who can help you get in the first place. And so I know Katie mentioned Roxanne Lewis, so hopefully that'll be a great resource once the webinar is over, to send her an email and to get that access straightened out, figure out who the point of contact is, and you know, rock and roll with it. Thank you, Breakout Room 1. Breakout Room 2, will you share with us your responses for question number 2?
Yes, we said as a checklist, we use it as a checklist to meet and help students who have not completed it. Also to check to see who students who think they've completed it, but they haven't finished it, just to make sure it's completed on the FAFSA site, and download it weekly and let the staff know who they need to let the students know, so they can go to the guidance counselor so they could get it completed who hadn't done it yet.
So being able to utilize the whole school to say, hey, everybody, here are the students who still need to get that done. When you see them, send them our way. And then just being able to check in and see, all right, well, maybe a student thought that they completed it, but really they haven't, you know, hit submit officially. And so I think that's awesome, because you know, you might run into a student multiple times and say, hey, is that FAFSA done? And they're telling you yes all day long, but then you can see on the report that it in fact is not. So yeah, thank you, Breakout Room 2. All right, Breakout Room 3, what did you all have to say about question number 3?
Okay, Breakout Room 3, that's me. We found that there were several barriers or obstacles that our students face and that counselors face, even by getting the FAFSAs, you know, completed at their school. We found that language could be one, getting information verified, that some parents don't think that their students should go to college, or think that they're college material, so they don't find the importance in coming in and filling it out. Let's see, if their parents are migrant workers, you know, you may have an issue there. Parents don't understand why they're having to share their tax information. You know, you get a lot of kickback with that. You know, why am I having to share my personal information for my student to go? And, you know, other than that, that was about, you know, the only barriers that we found. However, we do have one question. We have a CTE, or a counselor that's at one of the schools. It's like a CTE school. But she doesn't have access because she has 3, you know, or more high schools coming in to her school. Is there any way that she can get the reports for those schools? How would that work? And we were hoping that maybe the KIA representative could explain that a little bit.
Yeah, Katie, what are your thoughts on that?
I would say that's a Roxanne Lewis question for sure. It may be that there's not going to be an individual access in that case, and you have to coordinate with the 3 different schools. It may be that she can get special access, but my guess is it's going to be a coordination attempt. But I would definitely talk to Roxanne Lewis about that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, we appreciate that. And it's such a great question. And I'm not sure who asked that, but my thought is, you know, now that you've got this information, it might be that you're sparking those great conversations with those partner schools. Maybe they aren't even using that yet. So now you've got 3 schools who will be using that because of you and that information today. So thank you for bringing that question up. And we hope that you're able to get access to that and put it to great use. All right, so you guys, this was great conversation. We really hope that you were able to get some good information from your colleagues and have some new tools in your toolkit there that you can use when you're trying to work on getting FAFSAs done. You know, the FAFSA is such an important part of college access, and just getting it done doesn't, you know, a lot of students have that fear, right? Well, if I get the FAFSA done, it means I have to go to college and I'm not sure yet. And, you know, it's just one of those things that it provides the option. And I would tell my students all the time, getting it done while there's a lot of help in the school building feels a lot better than changing your mind about it in the summertime where there seems to be less help readily accessible. And so if you can really just encourage them to go ahead and get that done, it really just makes the process so much more smooth. I hope that you are using your KIA representatives. They've got so much information, you know, your TRIO folks, your Gear Up folks. There are tons of college access and FAFSA professionals in the area, in your area. So hopefully you're getting the help that you need. And also KIA will train you. So I wanted you to know that. So they offer a session where they can come in and teach you how to do the FAFSA. So if you're nervous about learning that on your own, KIA can certainly help with that. Okay, so as we near the end of our time together today, I just want to make sure that you have the information you need to stay connected to the Kentucky Advising Academy. And so our October webinar is going to be on October 13th. It'll be here in no time. It'll be at the same time as the one today. For that webinar, we've partnered with Gear Up, and we're very excited to bring you information about scholarships. And so the link, you can access that through the QR code here. The link has also been dropped into the chat. And so you can check the chat and register for that webinar. And then coming soon, if not already, again, yesterday was our kickoff to our professional learning series, and it just was such an exciting day. And so if that wasn't in your area, then these are the dates for the areas coming up soon. So hopefully you'll get a chance to be a part of that. You can click on the link in the chat to register for an event near you. So hopefully you'll be able to do that. I just want to make sure that you know it's the first of a multi-meeting series. And so each time that we meet together, we'll build on the previous. And so hopefully you can carve out some time to come to not just the first one, but to the future ones as well. So you're encouraged to bring your colleagues, right? So if you are working on post-secondary access in your school, but you have a team of 3 or 4 people who would help, it would be helpful that you all take a pause and gather together and spend some time working on this together. We encourage you to bring all those folks, okay? So it'll be a great day of learning and interaction. There is ELA credit and also FRISC training credit available for these professional learning events. And so we hope that you can register for that and that we'll see you on the road. And then from our website, which is being sent in the chat, you can subscribe to our communications, including updates about the podcasts, webinars, as well as our newsletters and in-person events. We would love to have you follow us on our social media accounts. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Advising KY. And you can check out our YouTube channel, which is where we put all of these webinars. So any previous webinar that you'd like to catch up on or forward to other folks, by all means, hop on YouTube, search for Kentucky Advising Academy, and our information will pop up there. The best compliment you can give us is to pass our information along. So we hope that you found today useful and that you found some other resources that can help you. All right, as for your ELA credit, the QR code is there on the screen. There's also a bit.ly link if you prefer to use that, and it's being put into the chat. So you'll be able to have access to your ELA by completing that form. We will send your ELA information, also any relevant resources that we've got access to in addition to the presentation. So you'll have the slide deck, PDF version of that available in your inbox. So anybody who's registered for the event will get that. And then the ELA credit will come specifically to those who complete the form. So we're so thankful again that you were able to join us today. Appreciate your time and attention. So deeply thankful for the work you do with Kentucky students, because every single bit of your effort makes a big impact in their lives. So thanks for coming, and we hope to see you next time. Have a great day, everybody.